Hello, folks. I am back, and I'm here to talk to you about my year in review. This is going to be a short year in review because I am a little bit rusty on doing my videos right now. Uh, I usually like to do a lot of videos during the year, but it was cut short this year because I did have knee replacement surgery. So I used to like to go in the shop I work at and just either film or take pictures of the newest products that we have or that is from the firearms industry. And like I said, it was cut short. I usually get the chance to feel them, take play with them a little bit, give short videos, and I also, if there are rentals available, I used to have the time to take those firearms and shoot and test those and give you my personal opinion about them. But like I said, I had to cut that short this year. So I have to apologize for that. And I apologize for not being in depth this year. So you're just only going to see a couple firearms, and some of the other ones that I mentioned are not going to be, you're not going to see pictures of them or anything like that. So let's go with my first category. My first category is going to be the fail of the year. The fail of the year is going to be the industry as a whole. The firearm industry has had some failures with quality control issues that have been pretty much ongoing, plaguing the industry. For instance, I had an issue with this optic, and several other people have had issues with the Sig Sauer optic. And then there is the Springfield Armory Prodigy. In both cases of these firearms were these products were sent back to their respective companies, and they sent them back within 2 weeks. And I really think that's a very good thing, and it's always great to have customer service when you need them, and it is really good. But the sad part is that you expect to use something right away, and it kind of like fails on you, and then there's time lost after you spent the money. One of the other things is it's not just on these particular products, so I'm not picking on Sig Sauer or Springfield Armory. There are other companies that have issues with optic plates that have been cracking, screws that did not match up, screws that did not work. And even on, I heard some issues with certain flashlights, lasers, you name it. So the industry as a whole has had some issues regarding their products. So, like I said, I'm not picking on one particular one. It's just an industry thing, and hopefully that will be straightened out in the coming year. So, let's go on to the other category. Again, I do not have a picture of this particular item. One of the big firearms that are out is the Spear LT, the MCX Spear LT. I do have experience with the MCX Rattler, which is part of that line, but the Spear LT is the best rifle, in my opinion, so far. That rifle has been showcased in a lot of television shows, especially it's been showcased in the series called Lioness. So if you haven't seen the series, it's a really, really good series with Zoe, I can't pronounce her last name, and also Nicole Kidman, Morgan Freeman, and there's a lot of people in that cast. It's a very good show. As you see there, there's the Spear LT, and most of her squad carries that particular firearm. So I'm gonna nominate that as Rifle of the Year. We are starting to sell these a lot there in a couple different calibers. There's going to be 5.56, 300 Blackout, and 7.62. So that I'm looking forward to probably entering that in my collection. So I'm jumping around here. Let's talk about the most innovative thing this year for firearms. There are going to be integral comps. Now we know about compensators that you add to the firearm, but companies like Sig Sauer they call theirs an expansion chamber, but the integral comps that go on here. Companies like Springfield Armory, after they had the Prodigy, they have their own version of integral comps. They would make a cut right through the front of their slide and barrel, and it's becoming all the rage right now. Other companies that have been doing it have been Springfield. I already mentioned Springfield Armory, but they have it on the Hellcat. Also, there is Smith and Wesson as well. So this alleviates you to buy a instead of buying a compensator that you have to screw on time and do all that. They are now making these on firearms, and a lot of times people would have to send their firearms out and would have to get some milling done to cut through and do all that. This eliminates that problem. So I think that is the most innovative thing that's in the firearms industry right now. It started with, let's say, compensators have been around for years, but the integral ones are really picking up steam. So that's it. The most innovative thing that's with firearms today. Now, speaking about integral comps and so forth, now I'm going to say this about this firearm. A lot of you seen my videos about the Prodigy, how many issues I've had in the beginning, and then Springfield Armory has fixed this. And I left this in its stock configuration because I want to do this in the training in the future. However, there are companies that are out there that are using this platform as a really good platform to customize. Years ago, we had when I was younger, back in the 80s, if you were a shooter and you wanted like a competition 1911, we would buy the cheap guns like a Norenko and send it to a gunsmith who would do all the cutting and everything, and we would use put like Wilson combat parts in there to make it like a competition gun. So that was like your baseline gun. It was expensive, but a little bit cheaper. So companies like one of the guys that I really like is Skip's Guns. If you ever check out his channel, he's a guru when it comes to the Prodigy. And what he does is he does not only the comps, he makes it bulletproof where you don't have any problems, where you're dealing with the springs, when you're dealing with anything that has to do with internals, with the trigger and so forth. And I know you guys have seen that on the internet time and time again. But to me, the Prodigy is the best platform to do this on a 2011 slash double stack 1911. Now, the thing about it is that there are a lot of different 1911 double stack 1911 companies out there right now. There's so many that are coming out right now, but I think the baseline to use a double stack 1911 to make it bulletproof, to make it customizable, to make it your own, it is the Prodigy. I have to say, this firearm shoots like a dream now, but I'm thinking about, again, in the future to pick up another one and sending it out to Skip's Guns. If you don't know who he is, go check out his channel. So for the best, so the category would be the firearm that's most customizable would be the Springfield Armory Prodigy. Okay, folks, I've mentioned a couple firearms. Like I said, this is shorter than what I normally would do. So I'm going to get a little corny on you right now. I'm going to do that right now. So for Firearm of the Year, I have a deep attachment to this firearm. When I was younger, I couldn't afford this firearm, and later on, I'm now able to afford it. So just to give you something that would be explaining what I've been going through. 40 years ago, I'm going to say that my favorite television show was Miami Vice. It's the 40th anniversary of Miami Vice. They've done a whole bunch of a lot of celebrity signings and things like that in Miami, and it's one of my favorite shows. And then that was like 40 years ago. Also, 40 years ago, my favorite artist, Prince. 40 years ago, the movie Purple Rain came out. One of my favorite artists, one of my favorite movies. But there's a firearm that also came out 40 years ago. That firearm is the SIG P226. This was one of the firearms that did not make it as the military sidearm, but however, the Navy SEALs have picked it up. So this is my Mark 25, very good firearm. Excellent. Standard Picatinny rail. And this one is what you call the Navy edition and or what the SEALs would use. This has phosphate coating in the inside for those saltwater environments. Trust me, I'm not trying to swim with this, but that's what they used, or a version of. The SIG 226 is a very good double action, single action firearm. It is my favorite double action, single action firearm. A lot of you are saying, I thought the CZ line of firearms were your favorite. Well, the CZs are one of my favorites, but this was the one that started it all for me. The SIG 226 also comes in a couple different variants. And the one variant is this one. This was the TAC Ops. The TAC Ops is, I believe, is a 20-round magazine. I do have it there. I should have told everybody that all these firearms are safety checked, but it is what it is. This version of this, the 226, has a very, very short reset trigger. Allows you for great shooting on its reset. It has the SIG rail, not a standard Picatinny rail, and night sights, SIG night sights. And also, SIG has come out with a different variant. The other variant are the Legion lines. The Legion lines are very popular. Some people think it's a little bit crazy because they have that Legion membership thing. I like the grips on this. This is a single action only version. So it's more like a 1911, but without the beaver tail backstrap. Comes in double action, single action as well. And I just had this love affair with the 226. So I'm going to end it with this, folks. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Like I said, I did not get a chance to do a lot of reviews this year because of, like I said, I had that knee replacement surgery. Also, I have other products online in the future that are going to come up. Well, surprisingly, I do have a suppressor, and possibly another suppressor will be in the following month. Also, I'll be getting some Core Essential stuff, and I usually mention this. If you need 10% off of any type of belts or any type of gear, Core Essentials is the way to go, and you can use my code KENAN10. That's capital KEANON and the number 10. And also, if you need any type of optic plates or any type of accessories for your firearms, go to Calculated Kinetics, get 10% off using my code KG2024. So with that said, thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks to my subscribers. Thanks for all the people that I bump into in the shop. And I appreciate all of you. With that said, happy shooting, stay safe, #2X.